Now, one of the harshest aspects of the coronavirus pandemic is burying the dead. Family members are unable to visit their loved ones, as you just saw in the last story, while in hospital, and they're still alive. But even worse is that they are constrained when mourning those that pass on. Well, Westlands MP Tim Wanyonyi knows this too well. He is still traumatized by the loss of his brother, who he says was buried by strangers. The strangers were officers from the Ministry of Health, as per government guidelines on COVID-19. Well, he spoke to Citizen TV's Waihiga Mwaura and intimated how the pandemic brought grief to his home.
His name was Anthony Waswa Wetangula. This father of four was 48 years old, and he had never slept a day in hospital. And yet, on the 15th of May 2020, he died alone on a hospital bed, separated from his family less than a week after he fell ill.
I would like my brother to be remembered as a person who was loving, a very sociable person, and also somebody whom you can send and be very sure that whatever you have sent him to do, he will deliver.
Honorable Wanyonyi last interacted closely with his brother on Friday the 8th of May, when they met at these offices to plan how to distribute food to the needy in Westlands constituency. 2 days later, Honorable Wanyonyi tried to reach his brother for some assignment, and when they spoke, Tony, as his friends called him, confessed that he hadn't left the house yet because he wasn't feeling well. A bit later on, Tony was taken to the Ngara Medical Center for treatment. When his condition deteriorated, he was referred to the Aga Khan Hospital.
So he was put in ICU Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday morning. He passed on early in the morning. So for those 3 days, there was no interaction with anybody from outside.
On Friday morning, the dreaded call came. His brother was no more.
News was broken here. I was hosting a group of people who had come to donate various food items for the people of Westlands. I couldn't hold it. It was too much, because I was like, I'm dreaming or it's true. I had to call my brother, the senator. He was in Bungoma. So I told him, please go home. I cannot call our father and tell him this news. Just go home, maybe, be with him, and then break the news to him.
To add insult to injury, the news of the death of Tony spread on social media like wildfire before the whole family could be alerted, and explaining exactly what had happened was easier said than done.
We never did, and we have never been told exactly what caused his death. Because immediately when he died, I talked to the doctor, and he told me it is heart failure. So when we conducted the ministry, they told us that treating every death as COVID-related, but they were waiting for the report from the pathologist.
The Westlands lawmaker is still trying to come to terms with the type of burial that took place in Mwaura village, Bungoma County.
The strangers are the ones who came and buried him, people from the Ministry of Health. So it's actually very... I don't think anybody has come to terms with that kind of... that thing, that we could not view the body, including, in our culture, we actually must make sure that we secure the body properly, prepare it for burial, and it must be laid in a particular manner, in a particular position, facing which direction, and even the way the clothes are that is dressed with must be specifically designed so that we don't. But in this way, we are not even sure because we send even clothes for him to be dressed, but they could not. Those things were just thrown in the coffin.
The Ministry of Health guidelines on burials state that bodies should be placed in 2 body bags, which can then be put in a casket for burial. Relatives, friends, and religious officials are allowed to conduct the burial, but only under the watchful eye of public health officials.
I think they should allow families the dignity of laying their loved ones in a more dignified manner. That drama we are seeing is unnecessary.
The Westlands lawmaker now exercises even greater vigilance when it comes to following the Ministry of Health guidelines, and he wishes his fellow politicians would do the same.
We should lead by example. Let us not preach water and we are drinking wine. Let us tell Kenyans the truth. Let us sensitize them.
Within 100 days of its arrival in Kenya, COVID-19 has separated loved ones in a way they never thought possible. This new normal is a painful one. Reporting for Citizen TV, I'm Waihiga Mwaura.